Hey folks, welcome to our latest episode of Clan from the Stands, and we are once again at full strength. Good to see you boys. Nice to see Chris is coming in live from a pub from the 1980s when smoking was still allowed in bars. You can see that. He's got that room in his house. He's like, you have like the people have like their caves, their man caves. It's like that's Chris. He's like, I preferred the pubs back in the 80s when it was
I
like
told
one
you
pound ten
once,
a pint, Chris. It was a reasonable price for a pint. Chris has got that bar in his house going back in time. You can smoke, you
it's
can
the
do whatever
har,
you want.
mate. It's the har. It's this like foggy getting Kirkcaldy, right? It just sits here. Like, you maybe get it once a year in a big city, but you get it like every week here. It's just a smog. Like some you see at an old movie.
That's
It's
it.
just here every day, every
Are,
other
are,
day.
are the question though, the carpet sticky? Are they? No. Okay.
They will be.
Does it
Kind of
smell
like
like
gas fire,
Witherspoons?
Yeah.
kind of like gas fires and all that.
Other thing I was going to say, boys, I have to say, I don't usually say this, but I'm going to give compliments where it's due. You're all looking sharp tonight. Maybe it's something to do with these. Look at this.
The badge on,
Huh?
lads. Get the
Look at
badge
that,
on.
Phil. Big Phil Kate. Look at what Phil has produced. Huh? Huh? That's it.
Come good sometimes, mate.
That's it.
Well,
He's
this
listen.
this is the next Christmas presents that these are all going to be buying your family, hopefully.
We love it.
Is it?
Listen, mate,
Well,
super,
I could
mate,
just
super
say, well,
comfy. It's my
limited
favorite. It's
edition,
my favorite new
limited
hoodie.
edition.
My favorite new hoodie. And you know what as well? It's good times because we're all smiling because I was obviously looking in preparation for the podcast, obviously trying to just remind myself of some of the games. I'm looking back going, it was almost perfect, right? We had I know the Belfast game, the Guildford, the overtime loss down in Guildford. It was like, listen, the Clan are rolling. We've had post Mitch Hurd hangover, non-existent, right? We've had guys go down injured again when we're already short benched. No problem for this roster of players. Um, so look, we're flying high. Challenge Cup took care of business against Fife as you'd expect. Obviously, we lost it. We had a loss to Belfast, which was a tough one. Double header against Dundee. Pretty comprehensive from the mighty. As I say, a trip down at Guildford took them to overtime. Unfortunate maybe to lose that one there in overtime, and then again some big performances, right? We're going to get into also. Yeah, we have the Cardiff Devils and then Coventry Blaze, both taken care of.
Yeah.
Phil,
Batch.
Phil, dare we say it? Dare we say it?
What?
Are the mighty in Are we a top five team? Are we a top five team in the IHL? Dare we dream? Dare we say it? Dare we even think it? Phil, what do you think?
We certainly look like a top five team, if not better. Uh, Good to see us up against the so-called better teams in Cardiff. I know Guildford had a sticky start, but stringing a couple of results together. So it was good to see us matched up against them.
Yeah.
Uh, and I thought we'll just talk about Cardiff because they're the big boys. We were every bit as good, if not better, than them on that night. But that is a normal night for us right now, the way we played that match. Unbelievable speed for us. The work rate that the D and the forwards are getting through is unbelievable, and it must be an absolute nightmare to play against. Just when I was talking about seeing us up against like Cardiff, and we were talking amongst ourselves about the speed that this team's got.
Yeah.
I've not seen anybody faster than us. Like it's not like it's no one off. It's every single time we're pedal to the metal, driving out our own zone. It's fucking beautiful. It's just so good to watch. It's exciting. Um, yeah, so good, you know, so good.
There you go. Happy days. Listen, and again, we've got a lot of questions on Twitter to get through, but we'll come to those after we've had our kind of own personal reaction to recent form. But short bench as well. We had McKay go down as well on the back end, so another man down. Had everyone worried. Team are finding ways to win games. First period basically blew Coventry. I think we talked about this last podcast. It was like, can we win those games? You look at the Guildford away one. You go, we got again see a point away there. I know we could have won it, but you're going, yep, this is different. This is new. Okay, this is better. And then Coventry, that home, those home games against those teams. And I know I'm pinpointing those teams in the Cardiff game. You're right, Phil. I thought that was a much better 60 minutes from our team in terms of a full game. Coventry, I think we just smoked them in the first period, and it's like that's now where I'm starting to see like, and again, being short benched, I'm going. I started, but we look very much like a top 5 team in this league all of a sudden. And yeah,
that Coventry game, that was coming. But I'd say to you yesterday, you don't want to predict something like I could see it coming game by game. What we were getting all these shots off, and I didn't feel we were getting the reward, especially that Guildford game down there. Like we blew the wheels off them, but we just never get the finishes. But I had a feeling about the Coventry game, but obviously with us being short bench with Pullman out and Mackay out, you're thinking like we can't sustain this. We can't go to the well again and bring it home. And we just went in and we absolutely blew them apart for the first 30 minutes of that game. And then we didn't really have to do much after that. It's just about containment. It's a containment job after that. Whereas Cardiff did pushes the whole time. And we were more than fit for it. So I really
yeah,
good.
it was good. I'll tell you, I saw it coming. The EIHL betting guru Chris Devlin. I think won a bit of money in the clan, didn't you? Didn't you, Chris?
I did, mate. Delighted by it. I have to say, to answer your initial question about our clan, a top 5 team, well, we're actually sitting 5th. So the answer is yeah, we are a top 5 team, Ross. But I think obviously you're talking about the longer term, and I would say it's definitely looking like it. Great. I mean, there was 2 really excellent performances over the weekend. I cannot praise the guys high enough, and it was right for the get go in both. I think through the first 10, 12 minutes, I think we were out shooting Cardiff at 11-2 or something like that.
Yeah.
Massively outshot Cardiff over the entire game, though. At one point, we were 2-1 halfway through the game.
It was especially at the start, though. We were really giving them it.
Yeah. And then I don't know what the first period numbers were shots wise in Coventry, but I can only assume with Monster then as well.
11-4, I think it was 11 or 12-4. I think we were. We massively outshot them in the first period.
So we've got a goalkeeper who's standing in his head at the moment as well, and we've got a group of D guys who are logging 25 minutes a game plus because they're covering for injuries. But these guys are good enough and they're fit enough to log that level of minutes. And as Phil said, when we're free flowing like that, and yes, we're playing at home ice, so it's going to be an advantage being at home. But when the guys are in full pelt, it's very difficult to stop them. In fact, they actually make a lot of teams look relatively leggy when we're actually in a foot base with them.
Yeah, and the other thing as well, and Colin, come to you in a second for your thoughts is, like I'm pretty sure Bound's got like player of the week, whatever. Like he's been in really, really good form for the Devils. And again, I just think back to last year, many times it's like we talk about like not being able to solve goalies and like all that narrative, and all of a sudden that's not an issue now that we've got a team that, like you say, we look dangerous, right? We look very, very dangerous. We're causing teams lots of problems. And I'm glad you mentioned the goalie, Chris, because I do think that is a big part of being short, especially where we are short, right? The goalie, he's really, I think, really had to step up. And I think that is times you do need your goalie to be making some of those saves. Colin, what's your thoughts? And then maybe a second part of the question, and I think maybe some of the stuff on Twitter was alluding to this, but you mentioned that, Chris, like in terms of minutes that people are logging, like, are we a little bit concerned? Because Phil, that was your kind of like, I felt it coming, but can we keep this, sustain this, knowing the demands of the league and that sometimes you've got 2-3 games in a weekend. Are we worried at all, or just you feel like we've got enough momentum going?
No, my concern is when you're looking at guys logging 25 minutes and stuff like that, there's only so long they can do that for before injuries start to creep in, and then we've got a bigger hill to climb. But if you look at the guys, we've also not mentioned that we've still not replaced Herd after he left. So we've had 3 imports down. Lucas Brine obviously wasn't there either as a backup at the weekend. So when you look at the number of players like Pullman and Mackay, they're not exactly like fringe players, if you would call it that. They are 2 top D men. But Sammy in nets has been phenomenal, but you've also got to credit the defence. Like Darian Kelb, for example, has played forward and D and has not looked at a place at any position he's played in since he's come in. So from that aspect, you've got to credit the backup that they brought in at the time. But if you look
Some
at
of the Brits, Colin, the Brit, I think the Brit.
Oh,
yeah, I mean, like that's the other thing. I mean,
yeah,
Mitchell
you
Hart
don't-
got a goal.
Hazeldine doing fantastic.
you don't notice them. Like Hazeldine looks like an import, but you've also, and I was critical of him, right? But Nielsen's boy, Cade, has maybe not had the points to show, but he's so busy all the time. Like his work rate is phenomenal, and you're starting to see this Brit / import that we had all thought was coming to the league, thinking this boy's decent. Again, you look at Lacko and they just, if you look at the team in harmony, you couldn't really pick out the Brits per se, like maybe one or two of them, but the vast majority of them just don't stick out anymore. But you've got to also look at the guys that we've lost. We've got two top line D men, and we've got probably a bit of quality we maybe lack. If you look at our power play, that's my only critique. Our power play is one of the worst in the league, right?
Yeah.
If we could tighten that up from 10 to 20%, some of these games go from just losing to winning, and that changes the picture completely. But if you look, I think it was Mike Saran, Magic Mike, who we all like.
Oh, we love Mike. We love Mike.
Basically came out and said 3-2 seems to be our thing. We've had 8 results at 3-2 this year, and we've won 7 of them. One of them we lost, which was against Guildford. So, and that was in overtime. So when you look at that, he's right. We're winning these things, but to go back to the 2 games at the weekend, Cardiff, I thought was a really good, because they're a decent team. They are no slouches. And if you look at Coventry, we hammered them, but then our puck management was really good. Like we took our foot off the gas, but we never really looked in danger, if you would call it that. Okay, they scored maybe a goal back, but the first period we literally blew them out and then literally managed the game. At the end, they couldn't pull their netminder because we were literally just cycling the puck really, really well.
Yeah.
So there's a hell of a lot of positives. My only criticism would be the lack of time, or the time we've taken to replace Mitchell Herd, and the power play. The power play seems to be, I know we scored a power play goal against Cardiff, which was right to the death by Newman, but it's still the kind of bone of contention. If we can fix our special team a little bit more, then
even if we can be just like average-ish in the league, like, you know what I mean, like it's going to be, it takes those 3-2 games to make it a 4, you know, it makes it a bit more like, you know, when you're in, like, you're winning games with 1 goal, there's always the risk there's a goal the other way. Chris, you got your hand up
again by a goal, it can then split that out as well. So
exactly.
That's probably my only criticism, if I'm going to be critical of anything.
Chris.
I reckon what you were saying there, Colin, is what I was going to get to, and that was that power play goal by Newman. That first of all, that's when you want to score a power play, right at the very, very end, when they've been defending for their lives for almost 2 minutes. And to be honest, I couldn't stop smiling at that because in all honesty, Cardiff never recovered from that mentally. They never actually, they'd lost a yard in effect after that. They were playing catch up. And it was just such a great time to score that goal, you know. I think that was a 3-1, that was a go-ahead goal, wasn't it? The game winner. The 3-1 goal. So sorry?
3-1.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a 3-1 goal. So that was in effect the goal that won the game. And Cardiff never really looked like anything after that, which is great.
Yeah, it was good. Phil, what do you think about obviously there is some stuff on Twitter we're kind of jumping to now because we should, right? You know, I think the Herd one's probably the one that people are, you know, looking at now going, again, we're winning these games, we're on a great run, we're winning it by the odd goal. Like reinforcements, you know, would only help, right, in terms of having some extra bodies. And obviously we are a few bodies down at the moment. Now, look, some of that's injury, and you can't expect every injured player to be replaced, right? But obviously Mitchell Herd, departing player, we know he was a kind of franchise guy, so clearly on, you know, a decent wage. There's other teams that have in the league, you're looking here, no, so they've brought a player in, right? You know, we know that player, they're a decent caliber player. Mm-hmm. So do you have any opinion or thought, or have you heard anything around, like, do we think this is like they're being really selective and careful and waiting for this, or do you think this is a matter of we feel like we can cope and we don't want to bring somebody in, we don't want to deharmonize, we've got something good going on at the moment?
Yeah, there was a couple of questions I seen on Twitter, kind of alluding to what you're talking about there, and that I've heard was obviously a top line player for us,
Yeah.
and I can't remember, I think it was Big Dave had said, um, "Do you really want to bring in another top liner and then have to shuffle the deck? Uh, Try to get him into that top line. Do you bring a third liner in or something like that?" He wrote. So my answer to that is no. You try and get the best player you can possibly get and afford, and everything, all the kind of stuff, so it all fits into your budget. I would be going after the best. If that means like one of the guys that's doing well does go down because this new guy is better, that's just the way that's what you're striving to do. You're trying to get better at every opportunity, every turn you can do that. So the fact that they've not done anything about it, the other question that somebody put in was, do the season ticket holders, are they starting to get shortchanged by them not replacing
Yeah, I think you're,
their
and then he
so
corrected and said, like, just the general supporters, are we being a bit shortchanged? That was kind of what I was alluding to. Do we think that
yeah,
it's they're going
a money
a
saving
money,
tactic?
that would be it. Let's be cautious. Let's not over, or do you think it's they want to be really like they've not found the right profile of player?
Well, I think like the likes of that Ferguson, he went to Cardiff,
Decent.
Yeah,
and what a game he had against us the other night.
he's a good player.
So I don't know what Corey's like. Obviously, Corey's got a certain type of player in mind, and that Ferguson never fitted the bill for him. But I think now that's been 4 weeks.
It's pushing that now, but there's got to be
Aye,
players there. You can't tell me there's nobody kicking
I
about.
know, I know. It's bullshit. If you really want somebody for the wage that we're going to pay them, being heard was probably their top earner, then there's players available. I don't know why they're not pulling the trigger. I
I
don't
think it's
know.
weird, Phil, with regards to like, see when we're saying about waiting for the right guy, why you always strike when the iron's hot, right? You don't wait for the wheels to fall off and then try
Yeah,
and make repairs. You actually keep it,
but
you keep the momentum going by
but
adding
Colin,
to what you've got.
this is a clan. This is a clan thing. Do you know, we don't build. It's a sabotage. It's just fucking in our DNA to do stuff like that instead of feeling good. Imagine we were to go and get a really good guy in, how the morale would even be up again, and what, yeah, what. Don't wait for it.
Well, you
That's
think about
exactly
last
right.
season, Phil. The reason I'm asking, like last season, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we ran with a spare import.
Yeah, two
Yeah, two at times. So, I mean,
From the start.
with a D and a forward.
I was that. Did we
from
know?
the start, we ended up with two, but we were
Right.
so I'm just like there definitely seems to be like we've obviously been short bench for a while, right? For various reasons, right? Injuries, and then obviously Mitchell Hurd,
Yeah.
and then that problem's got a little bit worse of late, which is okay. We're overreacting now. McKay going down was obviously, you kind of going like you said, Phil. You then go, oh shit, like we're not going to cope here. The team have done brilliantly, but it's like it just feels like it's been enough time now where you go like
Yeah.
like to me that the window of patience to look for the right guy is probably past now, where it's like you start to question, are we even going to bother? Are we just going to wait for these guys to get healthy? Doesn't look like there's an appetite. Again, look, we've done it. We have done in the past. I do remember in the past we brought in just absolute chumps. It feels like we've just gone warm body off the street and it's not been of the right caliber. So I'm not for that, right? But I do think like surely, you'd be expecting it. I would expect at least one side to say, right,
Yeah.
we've got another player. Given that Hurd left on that money was accounted for, budgeted
Yeah.
for the season. So I think that was with the question in terms of short change, because it's not like we're saying we want an extra import. We're going to go with a spare. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
On that vein, though, what I would say at a positive, one thing I wanted to bring up was, I know I mentioned it before because I was highly critical of this player last year, and it is funny when somebody leaves. Like I'm a big believer in next man up. Like sometimes I think somebody leaves and somebody else steps into a role. Devin Sidorov has been like a different player. Like, am I wrong in that? Because I feel
No.
like my criticism last year was fair, and it wasn't like he wasn't trying. It was just like he was a captain. He wasn't showing enough for me. Whereas I remember saying that about Dyson Stevenson there one season where he wasn't contributing enough in terms of chipping in with points. and I felt like he needed to be to justify the line he's playing on and the wage that he was on. But Devon Sidoroff, it's like almost out of the shadow of Mitchell Hurd.
Yeah.
Hello,
He looks
Devon.
faster as well.
Well, Colin, that's exactly what I was going to say. The way this team plays suits him so much better because that's the way he plays the game. Let's just see that
Kind of slowed it down a bit.
breakneck
See when
speed.
you actually look at it
Hurd,
back.
yeah.
Herd used to slow it down, whereas watch
That's
Seedorf
fine.
now, and he's bombing up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, see Seedorf, right? I would say there's 4 guys that you could probably say this year that have been standout. Seedorf's been definitely one of them. His
100%.
forwards, Newman, I would say Langen, you could not
Langen's
ignore.
been-
And Burke has
Burke,
been an absolute assist machine. I was really critical of him at the start, but he's really shown quality now. Like, see, just his positioning and his puck handling is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, some of the passes he picks out are like through the eye. And
His hockey IQ is right up there, Colin, to be honest. I'm really starting to see, you can see now why he's had such experience in top leagues, with some of his playing stuff, and some of his vision, I think is right up there and helping the rest of the guys.
There you go.
silent
Well, listen.
assassin is definitely Langen. Like, Langen for me has
Oh,
been a real
he's
gem. Like,
Uh,
I did say at the start of the year he had the same statistics as Scott Pitt when he came into the league, right? And I didn't expect him to do what he's doing now. But see, when you actually see him as a player, we used to say that the Uli used to just be like Casper and pop up. Langen seems to be everywhere. Like, you actually notice him throughout the
Langen's a far more complete player than Uli.
Yeah.
Far more.
Yeah.
I really
but
like him.
See, like Fram has
Oh.
been sensational. Like,
Real Rolls Royce, isn't he?
I didn't want to get carried away yesterday, but I can't remember a better D player than him that we've ever had.
No. Pullman's
Like-
good as well, man. Let's see
Pullman's
Pullman.
good, aye.
I know
But,
you cannot ignore the goals. The
Yeah.
goals that he's
He
scored for
jumps at the
a
right
game,
time,
man,
doesn't he?
and just important goals, first goals in games. Like,
Yeah.
just the guy is amazing.
Aye.
He doesn't give it away either. Like,
Do you know what he
hardly
does, Phil?
away.
Like you say, he takes responsibility. I just feel one of those players that he's one of those guys in a team. You go, like he wants to be the guy. He's happy. You know what I mean? Like it's
He'll
like
take it. He'll take it every time.
Aye.
And that is the thing. He's on the ice like a lot, and he sees so much of the puck, and like you would think you would see him losing the puck much more just because of the amount he sees it, but not everything's the puck retention with him is phenomenal.
It's the passing as well. See, if you look at last season, I was sitting with Phil a few times, right? And I was like to Phil, see, sometimes it looks as if this team doesn't know who each other are because there was passes going everywhere. See, if you look at it now, it's all tape to tape, dead crisp across, and you see them zipping the puck about, and
There's a lot of trust in that in each other, mate.
Sometimes the players aren't even looking at each other when they make like passes across the ice. And
they
stuff,
know where they're
and
going to
as you
be.
say,
They know where they're
as
going to
you
be.
say,
Yeah.
it's almost tape to tape every time. It's really, 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 really good to see. There's a real confidence in the group.
Ross, you've always said for the past, I don't know how many seasons, you can't see a style. You definitely can see a style now.
Now we're talking. Now we're Now you're right. You're right, mate. Listen, we're going to get to some Twitter questions. Before I do that, not to put a dampener on things, I do feel it's something that has to be discussed because it hasn't been, right? Now,
how good the quality these tops are.
Listen. I love these, Phil. These are awesome.
We can't
These are
see
awesome.
yours, Chris, but everybody else's looks all right.
I know it's smoky. Yeah, they look better. Look at that. There we go. We love them. Yes, that's it. So yes, that's it. Available from the back of Phil's van for very reasonable price. But yeah, does anyone know who the top point scorer in the league is?
Your ex-best pal, Gary Hayden.
It's Gary Hayden, Colin. It is. Sometimes things. It's like, there we go. He's Manchester Storm actually overperforming a little bit than expectations, and Gary Hayden a big part of that. But anyway, I just thought I better mention that. But let's go to questions on. Yeah,
he's such a dick, isn't he?
I'm just listen, mate. Says the man who's like, I said this, I said that 10 years ago. I said that. I'm
That's
like
all
that.
right.
Look,
you're allowed to be right once, Ross. You know what I mean?
Listen,
can't
that's it.
believe you lasted 25 minutes into this podcast and hadn't brought that
I
up.
know.
That
Mate,
didn't
I'm
my
patient.
He's
opening
talking to
line.
say it for weeks in a text message, but he's a willy.
No,
Know what I mean?
I just pick my moments, Phil. I pick my moment. I'm just like, just waiting for my moment and go, do
You
you
know
know
what
what?
happens if he falls off a cliff? I will
Oh
crawl
no,
to the top
listen,
of you. I mean,
bring it back, mate. But yeah, let's go to Twitter. We're gonna get through these questions, then we'll have a look forward to the games we've got coming up, and do want to talk about, we got a massive game in mid-December against Nottingham. It's a new thing. It's the elimination game, which makes it even more like, sounds like it's a cage match or something. But anyway, so we got Craig Somerville. I like this one. Power down / power up music equals bland, unenergizing, sleep-inducing nonsense rather than what it should be or could be to G up the fans and team. What's our thoughts on that? And he also, and I'll come to the second part in a second. So what's our thoughts on that? Do we agree with Craig? The power down, power up music saps the energy and we need to change it up? And if so, what can we do differently?
yeah, it should be a bit more like, like a workout track that you get, which is a bit more like
Douche,
you really
douche,
want to.
douche.
No, well, either that or rock and roll or something that gets people up or something. I understand that. I do get it because sometimes they're playing like something you play at a wedding and you're like,
I
right,
love that.
okay,
Colin's like, get the GBX on, boys. Let's go. Let's go.
I'm all
Like,
right with that. Or get on a bit of like AC/DC or something. I'm cool with
aye.
that or whatever. But I think he's right. I think like if they're saying power down and then you play like a song that you would have as a first dance at a wedding. I don't know about you, but I'm not wanting to jump off my seat and think, yeah, let's go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I do agree with that, to be fair.
Phil?
Yeah, I agree, totally.
Yeah.
Should be stuff to get the fans up, who in turn will G the players up when they come on the ice. So, aye, get it
Yeah.
sorted.
Clan, get it sorted, change it. Let's get some rock and roll back in there, right? That's it. That's what we want to hear. I'm for that. Second part of the question, Chris, I'll come to you on this one. He also mentions, by the way, where's Breen? Been last two games, no mention on sheet or absence. I've not, unless anyone else is correct me or wrong, I've not seen anything about an injury designation for
You're all
him.
sick.
Is he sick?
Well, that's what Mike Sarant said. The guys were playing sick, and Brian came back from GB. I think he
Yeah.
was ill.
Right. Okay. So we think it's
Came
illness,
back from
Craig.
GP, not that.
Okay, so we think that could be illness. So nothing to worry about. We haven't heard anything. I certainly haven't. I want to put it out there. That's good. Okay. Here we go. So Rory Martinet says, we've kind of covered this a little bit, but I'll just ask the question. What do you think of us bringing in players? Would it disrupt the chemistry of this team? I think we've all agreed we should bring people in. But what he did ask is, if we did bring someone in, what kind of player would you like? So what do we think in terms of, like, look, if you think about, we've not replaced Hurd, we do have some injuries. If I say one signing, like, what position would you prioritize? And yeah, I get, let's go with that versus, like, throwing names out, I guess, because it's a bit harder, because it's a lot of these guys that are available we probably don't know about.
Centre,
what do we think?
Scorer. You need like an Uli type player, I would
Yeah.
say.
Colin?
I would say Gary
Okay.
Hayden, but then I'd be saying that you were the right guy, so I'm going to say Uli.
Perfect. I'd love that, mate. Imagine that. What a turn of events that would be. Yeah, I like Colin's like, get Hayden and put him back in the fourth line.
I
Phil,
think,
Chris, what do you think?
Sorry, I was going to say, I think what was noticeable over the weekend was a success in the face-off circle,
Okay.
which would have increased dramatically, especially against Cardiff on the Saturday night. I think going into the game, they were sitting at 51%, and we were sitting at 40% of face-offs won. And I think we must have won about 2/3 of the face-offs that night. If we can get a quality, guy who's going to be taking a lot of face-offs and stuff and can win, you can see what it does to the actual team. And to answer some of your questions or some of the fans' questions about, upsetting the apple cart, you can never have enough good players, guys. Good players can play with good players. Yeah. So
Yeah.
another guy coming in, whether he starts off in the third line and wants to do it for the second or the first, or ends up in the fourth, whatever it may be, a good player is a good player, and you can never have too many good players.
Okay. And Phil, what position would you prioritize?
It's hard to pinpoint, because right now, at this particular moment, you feel we're strong everywhere. We're only going to get stronger with the D guys coming back in. So just for an entertainment point of view, maybe somebody will give us a couple of fights.
Oh, there you go.
Phil's
called it. Yeah.
You're also wanting somebody. I can't believe Colin never said that.
I know.
I thought that's why Chris was laughing when you were asking that question, because you knew what he was going to say.
I thought I was. I think we need to understand that we are a team which is very, very fast. And I think they kind of have somebody coming in needs to complement that as well, I think. So
Yeah,
if we're
you
all
can.
looking for a forward, if we're all looking
If you
for
replace Parry, if you get rid of Parry, you would get a fighter in.
I don't think that's going to happen, Colin. I think Parry's cheap and he's a fourth line fighter, fighting guys that are second line and stuff like that, the opposition. I'm not saying I'm necessarily happy with Parry per se, but I'm happy with a guy who's going to be in our fourth line, fighting guys that are potentially. Listen, to see Parry was paired off against Mitchell Hare, I would love to see that.
I agree.
Love to see that.
I love it.
What a trade! What a trade off! What a trade off that is!
Mitchell Hare's third line for Sheffield.
I know.
I know,
There you
but
go.
that can just be a bit of,
He's been third
Point, the
line
point
since
is,
he's been there.
I know he
I
has,
think-
but the point is, if you need a guy who's a much better player than you, I would much rather a guy like Parry fighting a top guy than Mitchell Hare when he was with us fighting a top guy. Simple as.
They
Good
fought
point.
Tansy. Tansy's
There
a
you go.
top line D man. Get him off.
There you go. Listen, as soon as Phil said that, Colin sliding in at Zach Fitzgerald's DMs, big man, there's a spot for you. There you go. Look, my short opinion on that would be I think it depends, and this is the problem with this, that you don't know the severity of the defensive injuries. I think that would be a big factor in like what I would like to see in terms of how long term some of those injuries are, what they think about, or how So I would lean
Mackay's
towards
is long term, innit?
What's that?
Mackay's like, so even on, you know how when somebody's on, like, I don't mean long term injury or the return is unknown, they put a wee red cross against them on elite prospects.
Yeah.
And basically, his upper body is what they're telling us. So if it's longer term, it means either something's broken or something's bad.
Aye, it's
But
not good.
Pullman, I think, is just a knock. But I think Mackay, we already have cover for him in Kelb, don't we?
Yeah.
So we don't really need per se cover on that aspect. But you maybe,
Mhm.
depending
You're
on
right, Colin.
Mackay's length of injury, if it is longer term, then yes, we'd need to bring somebody in. But again, your first point of cover has to be replacing the guy that has left the club.
Yeah, probably agree.
Agreed.
See,
okay.
just talking out loud, like what a signing Kelb's been.
Aye.
Mm.
Yeah, really
What a
surprised
signing
me.
that's turned out.
He was all
Listen,
right last year.
he's more than capable of filling McKay's boots, short to medium term while McKay's injured, as long as they don't all end up with somebody else out. So I think we're all in agreement that we need to sign a forward.
There you go.
As a player.
That's it.
He genuinely gives you something up front as well. See when he
Bit
was
of
playing
physicality, didn't he?
like, aye, he's like genuinely got something in there. There's like a confidence that like for a
He
D man
skates
being
really
up
well.
there, you'd expect panic, when they're in for a good chance. But what he done it in that overtime, that was just bizarre that a D man done something like that so deep into a
More than
game,
once.
just in the door.
But it's
Aye.
also
He set
it's
up
also the
Fram, didn't he?
confidence.
Sorry?
It's also the confidence. See, when you're playing with better players and stuff like that, you can become a better player yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it elevates guys. Yeah.
There's
That's
an inner good player there, that we never really saw much of last year. There's an inner good player there. So see when you get more confidence in the guy beside you, or the guys in front of you, or even the goalkeeper behind you, all of a sudden it just brings out the real player in you. Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
And that's why it's probably best to try and get somebody in just now while things are good, because it'll be an
easy transition, like you said.
easier
Chris says, put them in the
transition.
third line. Put them in the third line. Everyone's playing well. You're right. You don't have to put them straight in the top line, even though they might have top line potential. Yeah. I
there's
agree.
no pressure.
Yeah. Okay. Graham has got an easy one for us. This will be a one-word answer, which is straightforward. Graham says, best first period of Hockey Clan have played against any team in a long time against the Blaze. Yes.
Yes.
That's
So
short answer.
I'd
Yes.
maybe throw in the Cardiff game as well. We played really well in that first period against Cardiff, but
Yeah.
Blaze was probably the most complete performance because we smelt blood and we just kept going.
Cardiff should have been more. Definitely, Colin. Cardiff
Should
should
have
have been
been.
more of a lead.
Yeah. Okay, Stephen Hill's got one. So we've maybe talked about this. 5 weeks since Hurd left, no replacement yet. Are they waiting to get the right guy? I think we've talked about that. We don't know is the answer. And I think Stephen was the guy that said about the season tickets or general fans been shortchanged. I think, like you say, my point is like 5 weeks feels like, you don't have much longer to wait for the right guy. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, I actually think this is where my honest opinion on this is where just communication is poor. It's like, I'd rather somebody say something about it and say, look, we are actively like, you know, I want to know, because are they actively looking in the market? And it's like we're not going to pull the trigger. We want to make sure it's the right fit for the club. At least you know they're on it and they're doing something. So I guess the silence there isn't ideal. Okay, Kyle says, feel we play better since Hurd left. Yeah, I don't think anyone disagrees. Also says a stick tap to Mitchell King for his first goal. Absolutely. A lot of guys stepping up. Let's have, okay, so elite opinion. It's a new one. Okay, thanks for sending your question in. Do we feel that we finally found some consistency this season despite it being early doors? Also says an appreciation for Sidorov. What do we think? Do we think that we've finally found it, like identity, Colin? You said yes. Consistency. Do we think we're starting to see that? I think we all feel pretty confident now, right? The level of performance generally is at quite a high level. Is that fair to say now?
The guys look happy. See, if you look at them, and to go back to that Mitchell Hurd point, maybe like my wife made a comment saying, if you rip the mould out, you know what I mean, then everything will kind of prosper. And when you actually look at what, maybe he was a bad egg and he was actually causing problems for all we know, right? But if you look at the difference in the team since he's left, it is very, very difficult to argue we haven't improved massively as a collective unit. And when you look at everybody, I know you guys don't like that clap and everything else, right? But the guys look happy and they look together. They look like a team. If you know what I mean, we're playing as a team. So I would genuinely say, we look all round. I think we look better, and we could potentially be good, but we need to build.
Yeah, I think the clap's the main thing. We've got to just get that to fuck. Like,
never mind the players. Stop the clap. Is that what you're saying?
it's just a little bit embarrassing. I don't know. It doesn't do it for me. I've given my opinion on this before, but it is what it is. Also, by the way, elite opinion also did say about Sidorov, but also how good a signing is Fram being, putting up some good D points.
Can I come in with that? The consistency thing.
Yeah, consistency.
Just to agree with the point that was put forward, like we've took points from our last 6 games.
Unreal.
So, and we've dropped one point, I think.
1 point, yeah.
In the last 6 games.
Against Guildford, yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's improvement in
100%.
and all the rest of it.
And I think it's Phil as well, like, look, you know, beating, you know, the Cardiff win's a big one, right? In terms of like, you know, belief, right, in the players. But you look, obviously 2 games against Dundee, 1 against Fife, 1 against Coventry, 1 against Guildford. Like, we've talked about so many times, like if we want to be in that, these are like, and again, I'm not saying you always take that points haul, but you want to be plus 50%. You know, like I think, you know, it's a real statement as to say that's what makes me believe we can be a top 5 team. How high we can go, and that maybe comes to this next point, is Ian McIntyre asks, how good can this team be when we eventually get a full roster and everyone fit? You start thinking about that now. Like I'm feeling like right now, the way I think, like we look like a bona fide top, and I don't know what, you know, I'm saying top 5, so we could be 5th. But you start thinking, we get healthy here, we start getting these players back and actually get healthy, you're going, woo, side get a body in for Mitchell Hurd, like a quality player, you're going, I'm honestly, like, I think you got to benchmark, the way I look at it as well, is you benchmark around the league based on what we've seen. Now, the sample size isn't massive yet, but you look at our the points we've taken from our league games, we're right up there. But I know we got a couple of games behind. But
like we're beating everybody. So if you look at it, we've beat Cardiff, we've beat Sheffield, we've beat Belfast once this year. We've not played. Have we played Nottingham? I don't think we have yet, have we? But then we've beat Fife, Coventry, we've beat Dundee. Now last year Dundee had our number all the time, right? So if you look at the teams round about us, we've beat Manchester have beat us, right? But if you actually look at who we're playing, we've literally beat everybody. If you know what I mean. So the only one we've not really tested ourselves against is Nottingham yet, which they're looking really good at the moment. So Guildford maybe are the one that's maybe got a number at the moment. But if you look at it, it's not as if we're just beating Fife and the teams at the bottom end. We're actually like going to places and like winning. So I mean, we did give Corey a bit of a, how would you say it? We were maybe questioning him. Well, I was questioning him as well at the start of the year. And he's definitely turned it round. He seems to have that style, and it's not a normal Corey team, if you would call it that.
It's not a normal. That's exactly what I was thinking there when you were talking.
Or a Dell team. It looks more like a Dell side, see, like an actual Dell team. It looks like the experience he's picked up when he's been abroad in Germany. He's transitioned into the British game because the Dell League is very like that. It's very, very quick. See that it's Schwartz. Look at Schwartz and Burke. They're your prime examples of players that have came through there.
Yeah.
See the thing is, right? For me, it's all about getting rid of Mitchell Herd. That has we looked the same team as we were last season until Mitchell Herd left. It was clearly holding back the other players in the team, whether it was just he was too big a personality or it was actually the way he played on his line, he was stifling his line. I don't know, but there's been too much of a change in this squad since he's left. And if it was Corey's call in the end that punted them, because that took Bottle to make that call.
I was about to say that, Phil. Like, not the fact that he was a top line player, top.
Everybody loved him. Like,
that's the thing.
They had all of us, like totally. So, you've got to like give Corey praise for that because that was a massive call. And
the header and fire, by the way, at Sheffield, he's got 5 points in 10 games, 3 assists and 2 goals. So Mr. Superstar's doing hee-haw down south.
There you go. Okay, you mentioned Big Dave already. I think we already hit that. He did ask about, like, would it be worth bringing a lower line player? We said no. He did ask though, like, a question around the concern about second period slumps. Are we concerned about that? I'm not. See, if we get these fast starts, I don't mind. Like, I think sometimes, and like, you'd love the team to go that for 60 minutes. So I think in the past we've been too slow out the gates, in my opinion. And I prefer this than, like, being back, because then you get behind it, right? You're behind in games. I think this is better. So yeah, but he did ask a question about for Coventry. So he wants to pick man of the match, a moan of the match, and a moment of the match in the game against Coventry. Who wants to go first?
I would say man of the match for me. I would again say Tristan Langan. He was just all over the ice. For me, he's just very, very, like, he was defending at one point. You could also say Roy is doing a lot more as well that goes unnoticed.
His shots are going to start hitting the net soon.
Yeah, but he's fast as anything. See, for a big guy over a short distance, he's rapid.
Yeah.
But I would say, and Sammy, you've got to say him as well, but I would say my moan is probably the power play. The power play kind of annoys me, although we didn't have a power play against Coventry, but my power play is kind of the bit that pisses me off the now. And my moment of the match, I would probably say Mitchell King's goal. It was pretty good. Like, when you actually watch him, he drives to the net and he gets picked out and just tips it in. It was a really, really good goal. So for me, Mitchell King's was the moment of the match. The actual build up to that and that goal was very good. My moan would probably, I don't even know actually if I was going to moan, maybe the fact that we took our foot off the gas a little bit.
My moan would just be we didn't get the
shut
out for Sammy. I think that's just the work. You go up and you're controlling it. It's like you just, for the goaltender, I think they're hard to come by. That was
risk
one thing.
Through injury. Do you keep pushing yourself or nothing when you're 4-0 up?
No, I know, but it's a bit of a yeah.
Man of the match was Fram.
I was the same, Fram.
And the moment of the match for me was that first goal was sexy. It was just a complete team goal. Nothing they could do about it. And Fram, I think it was Fram, was just at the back door just to put it in. It was just a continuation. It felt just a continuation for the night before. We just came out and
start it as well. Did he not start the move and then finish it?
I think so. I think he started it in our back right corner in our zone, and then. But it was beautiful, just nice passing, and he was wide open at the back door.
I thought Schwartz was also really good.
Yeah, Schwartz scored, didn't he? I think
he got a couple of assists. He did
score. He had 2 whacks. He took a shot, it rebounded, and then he took another shot, and it basically chipped over the back end. So
he got at least 1 assist, maybe 2. He did score. He was.
Mate, Schwartz is brilliant.
Mate,
He's also
quality.
dirty as end. See, if you watch him, he's a wee agitator. He
He's the
pure
best. He's
pesters
the best
folk.
watch off the puck in the whole
Yeah,
team.
he's brilliant. He's like a silent assassin, isn't he?
Like
Yeah.
he's always like see when we're starting to break away, and he sees the nearest guy to like the defender, he just always kind of stands in front of them.
I know.
So that the guy's got a couple of strides away. He just kind of broadens himself out so that the D's got to get around him or whatever. It's just funny.
It is.
Must be
Okay.
so annoying.
So Lynn's, I love it. She's at hot dog face is your Twitter handle. I mean, I love that. It's incredible. Do we still have a goalie coach? Yes, we do. He is there. I think some people on Twitter, I think Elite Opinion confirmed the goalie coach has been spotted and is working with the goalies. But
Is he not a bench? Last year he was online, but this year he's actually.
I think so. But he is there, so he's been seen, and and I think Corey did mention in an interview that he's working with the two goaltenders. So yes, unless maybe he's an AI generated. I don't know, but yes, there is a goalie coach. Here we go. Obi Clan Kenobi, one of our good friends, has come in with a question as well. He's said, would you change the Nielsen, Sid, and Burke line for Hurd replacement? Cade's been awesome recently. Maybe better beefing up the third line. A dangerous third line would really cement the team. Again, I'm probably you, Chris. I'm like you say, Phil. My answer to that is kind of like, if you get the person in, I think having them work their way up, like not just chucking them in and disrupting things. I think in a team that's playing well, where you have multiple lines that are producing and playing well, it gives you. I actually wouldn't rush, dismantling those lines. And I actually think Cade Nielsen has been. I think he just does a lot of the stuff. Like, again, it's not the flashiest stuff, but it's the hard work. I mean, he's got that about him. So I would be reluctant to just, throw, again, depending who you get, the caliber of the player and your assessment of that. I think we do have a really good opportunity now to bring someone in and just ease them in and get them to naturally find where they fit. But
I preferred Burke on the line with Newman and was it Burke, Newman, and
Roy?
No. Name's just totally going in my head. That's
Langan?
shocking. That Langan, that was it. So that line, I really liked watching that line. I thought they were brilliant, but I think they had to split them up to give two lines more
oomph.
Yeah. But I still reckon we need to go with quality up top, and we need to have someone else that can keep putting the puck in the net. And if that means we need to drop Kate Nielsen dropping into the third line wouldn't be a travesty. Like, he would still do a job there. And then what you've got is you've got three good lines that are working hard all the time. So I'm with you in that, Ross. We need and Phil, I think we need to aim high. And if we don't, then look second line, third line, whatever you want to do, but you need to put someone in and make them earn their spot. Don't just throw them up the top. Make them earn their spot, because everybody else is in front of them. That's when you throw the spanner in the works. Is if you bring someone in and throw them right on the top line, people might get a bit peeved who have earned the right to play on that line.
That's right. Okay. One thing, Eddie Salt said, where's Hurd's replacement? Are we saving money? I think we've covered that already. Eddie, thanks for the question. I think that, sorry if I missed anyone, I'm pretty sure I covered all the questions, and thank you, because it does help us drive the conversation. We are going to finish up now for a few minutes, just looking ahead. We obviously like to look ahead. It's fun looking ahead when you're on this vein of form.
Thing when you're winning.
Exactly, mate. So next game, we always have Friday. This week, we're at home against the Guildford Flames, so looking to avenge that overtime loss down in Guildford in good form. We then on Saturday travel to a really struggling Fife team. So we
Can I ask that we actually just take maybe just 10 seconds or so just to laugh at Fife Flyers? Just laugh, guys.
That's good. Now we come back and bite us, won't it?
It's you love to see it. Yeah.
So
I mean, the two Dundee and Fife both right down the bottom there at the moment, but Fife are really struggling, and there's been some communication from the club around what they're trying to do to address that. But yeah, so we go to Fife, and then so those two games, obviously the form we're in, I don't think I need to ask. We're very confident going into those two games. At home against Guildford, another one of those games. Would love to see this form continue. if we can win both those games, would then put us into a monster weekend the weekend after, when we go down to Nottingham on the Friday, and then we come home against the Belfast Giants. So we will get to see the top of the league Nottingham Panthers. In league business, I think a couple of times. I don't know if it was a couple of times before the elimination game in the Challenge Cup. So we'll get a better look at how they're doing and how they look this season. They obviously had a decent start. How do we see those fixtures in terms? I mean, obviously we're hoping we might maybe get a body back, maybe to bolster. But anyone not? I'm sure we're all confident in the next couple of games this week, right?
Yeah.
Worried about Guildford? Anyone worried about Guildford?
You seem to have their number at the moment, so I'm not too sure. That's the question mark for me. There's always a team that has your number every year, right? Regardless what you do and how well you play. Guildford, for me, they're the bone of contention. If I was going to have one, they are. Yeah, I just think we seem to struggle against, not struggle, but we haven't solved that puzzle, if I would call it that.
Okay, Phil, confident?
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, but
We'll smash him.
from what I've seen, we're better than Guildford, but ice hockey is a funny old game, innit? It's like a game of bounces quite often. So, but
Mate, no, don't start with that pish, mate.
I don't like that bouncy stuff.
See down there, like, I thought we battered them and they beat us 3-2 somehow. It was
If you had better quality, would have put it in the net. Nothing to do with bounces.
What winners don't make excuses. That's it. No excuses.
Yeah, I think like at home, I was going to just go on to say, but at home that I think we're too quick for them, and that's it.
I think I think we'll smoke.
I think we'll get a bit of revenge. And Fife will be interesting with big Dupree signed up there.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I would expect us to beat them as well. More, maybe not more comfortably, because it's up in Fife and it is a derby, so they'll get up for it. Our fans will get them up for it. Will be a bit of national.
A couple of goals, they'll lose the rag and they'll start taking stupid penalties and trying jumpers and stuff like that. That happened before. Like, that's the problem when you're going up against that kind of mentality. They've got a couple of guys that want to fight, but the big thing is when their main man hasn't had a fight. And the guy that's had the fight this year is Keaton Jameson, who couldn't fight his way out of a wet paper bag. So
there you go. There you go. We'll see. Yeah, Chris, you're confident?
4 points.
Yeah, Chris, 4 points.
Yeah, nothing less.
I agree. I think we're rolling at the moment, and I think the real test comes the weekend after. That's away to Nottingham, home to Belfast. That's where we'll, and again, hoping we'll have maybe Pullman, like, at least one of those guys back would be very nice for that double header. But yeah, let's listen, boys. Let's just keep rolling with the punches. We're absolutely flying, and you know what? The hockey is like. Look, the other thing as well we didn't mention. It's entertaining. Like that's what you want. Like, you're entertained. You can't complain about the on ice product now is, and again, starting to meet expectations and be competitive every night. So yeah, credit to the club, and like you say, Phil, it looks like that Mitchell Hurd decision could just be the thing that unlocked it. So just shows you.
Love it.
Ballsy decisions. Ballsy decisions. That's it. There we go. Okay, we'll look forward to the announcement next week of us signing Gary Hayden and Colin going into absolute meltdown.
Gary Hayden and Mike Pellick.
That's it. But no, on a serious note, looking forward to the games this week. It's going to be hopefully, a nice juicy 4-point weekend. Keep this form rolling would be fantastic, and then set us up for a first look at hopefully looks like near top of the table clash, dare I say it, with us and the Nottingham Panthers. Can we dream? Let's see. But listen, thanks to everyone for listening. Thanks for your Twitter questions. Really appreciate everyone. And yeah, these are comfy, Phil. What a great job, mate. This is just maybe every time now. It means the thing is, I don't even have to think about my outfit now when we're doing the podcast. I can just wear this. It keeps it simple for me. I'll just have 5 of these, right? So
Colin will need to sit there with his window open. He was complaining about being too hot. So
too hot. It's because his big beard, mate. He's got his beard. He's too insulated. But anyway, listen.
Insulated.
Hit us up if you want any of these. Just private mail us, Twitter, Facebook.
Phil,
and
Phil,
we'll sort them out of the games with these if he's are.
Phil's got the van full. He's got
Want to
them
fill
ready.
your Christmas stockings with Clan for the Stands sweatshirts.
Look at you spreading some Christmas cheer, Phil. There we go. But anyway, times are good. Thanks for listening, everyone. Mon The Clan.